Hey, it's Shane from GotRom.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to release your iliacus muscle for less hip pain and better hip mobility. Stay tuned. The iliacus is a tiny muscle located just inside your pelvis. And even though it's small, this little muscle is responsible for a lot of problems with hip extension when you're doing lunge stretches, or hip extension when you're running, or doing the splits, or even squats and other things. So I'm going to teach you how to use the hip hook. And what we're going to do is we're going to hook it inside that pelvic bone and then leverage down to sort of pin and release some of the held tension in there. But before we get into the hip hook, which is a little bit more intense, I want to show you how to find your iliacus muscle. So we'll set the hip hook aside. I want you to sit in this position and bend forward and see if you can dig your fingers in just inside the pelvic bone and wiggle around. You know, get used to the area with your fingertips first because they're a little softer and a little bit more friendly. And it's a sensitive area, so you want to kind of get to know it first. You can also lay down on your stomach like you see me doing here and wiggle your leg around. Notice how I'm straightening my leg. I'm bringing my heel towards my butt. I'm moving around. All while I'm sort of hooking my fingers into my pelvis, right in about that position. If you need to rewatch sort of the diagram that I had earlier in this video to really see where it is, you can go ahead and do that. But it's best to just get your fingers hooked inside the rim of your pelvis and explore by wiggling around and seeing what feels best to your body. Because like I said, this area can be a little sensitive, especially if you have knots and trigger points in this area. You'll want to take it really slow, keep your eyes closed, practice moving into hip extension with a bent leg or a straight leg. You can even bring it out to the side. Notice my pelvis moving around. I'm just really acclimating that area to pressure and friction and movement so that when I graduate to the hip hook, which is going to be more intense and more deep, it's not so intense. So hook the hip hook into that same position where you just had your fingers. Breathe and relax. You notice my eyes are closed and I'm trying to become as dead weight as possible, meaning let go of any tension or tightness in my body. Once I feel like I'm on a good spot, then I can press the hook down, press the lever to have the hook up into the pelvis a little bit more, and it really doesn't take much. I'm using less than a pound of pressure. That's all it takes when you have good leverage. Breathe and relax. Your body will get tight. It will get tense in response to any kind of massage, really. And so it's a constant balancing act of dropping, becoming dead weight, and letting it sink in. A lot of the times working on this area requires sort of a continual constant pressure of maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 minutes. Another way of working on the iliacus muscle is to lay on your back. Same position that you were pressing your fingers into earlier, but now from a slightly different body position, more supine instead of prone, laying on your back instead of laying on your stomach. But notice again, I'm pinning the muscle down and then I'm stretching the muscle underneath that pin. This is a A.P.T technique, active release therapy, which is a massage technique. Once you've worked on that iliacus muscle for, say, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes in the beginning, longer as you get more advanced, you can try out some iliacus and hip flexor stretches to see if you've improved your hip extension, which will help your lunging, your running, your squatting, your splits, and help you with your hip pain. So, give it a shot with your hand, give it a shot with the hip hook, and enjoy.